Hey everybody, this is Life Coach Sophie, and I'm back again with yet another episode of the Truth Channel. And today's topic is all about respecting yourself and your needs by setting boundaries. And this is a key skill to develop when you are a highly sensitive person, just like I am, because we get overstimulated so easily that is a real risk to our well-being and also the well-being of the people around us. Because when we get too much light, too many noises, too many things at the same time, don't eat enough, don't sleep enough, and have these things coming together at the same time, well, that is like creating a time bomb. Because if you're anything like me, it's very hard to digest all those stimuli. And so what happens is that when they all come together, at some point you just explode in rage or sadness or frustration or whatever, because you cannot handle everything at the same time. And I've learned that over the years. I mean, I used to always be super thinking I had to be very high vibe and very ecstatic all the time. I thought that was, what was normal. And so I wouldn't allow myself to just, recharge and take time by myself and be in silence and everything, because I thought that was weak or weird or stupid. And so I would surround myself with people all the time, go out, have fun, and be like, oh my God, all over the place all the time. But then at some point, when you think you need that in order to get the approval you're looking for to feel good about yourself, at some point when you can't keep that up anymore, well, then you get hit in the head really, really, really hard. And that makes me think of what I have going on here. I don't know if you can see it well. But no, I didn't get beaten up, but it was my dog that hit me in the head when I was bending over to tie my shoelaces. And so, hurrah for a dog. No, it's fun, but sometimes she's just all over the place and really in your face, literally. And so you get hit around the head the moment that you don't respect those needs and that you go overload. And what happened for me was that also because of other circumstances, but that totally made my systems go haywire, and I developed anxiety disorder because it was just too much to handle. And afterwards I can say it's a blessing, because I have learned how to really respect myself and my needs and to set boundaries, because otherwise I wouldn't just be able to handle it and to cope. So I don't want that to happen to you. So what I would love for you to learn is, if you're anything like me, a highly sensitive woman who gets very easily affected by stimuli, energies, and just, even atmospheres and feelings, then, how do you learn how to set boundaries for that? Well, it starts with being aware, because like I said before, when you are still in this place where you're looking for approval outside of yourself, that you don't even have time. It's like a luxury to even stop and think hey, what do I actually need? Because you're in this survival mode to get approved of. So the first thing that you need to develop is to create a relationship with yourself where you actually know yourself, so where you can respect yourself from a place of awareness and being in alignment with yourself, where you are aware when you're not feeling all too well, or when things are getting too much, or when you are in a great mood and place, and you are also able to pinpoint exactly what it is that is getting you into this high vibe place, or that is bogging you down, because there you can make adjustments for yourself. So it starts with creating a really good and close and intimate relationship with yourself, where you care about yourself so much that you will actually care for yourself. And that starts with learning how to love yourself. For me, everything changed the moment I picked up the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and she explains this exercise where you learn to love yourself by saying I love you to yourself in the mirror every day. At the beginning I thought it was super weird, but I persevered because I really wanted to get into this place where I would be able to just enjoy my life instead of constantly fighting the anxious thoughts or the fear, or so I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So I also took up this weird exercise, and it has changed everything around for me, because the moment that I learned how to do this on a regular basis, I now still do it every morning and every evening, and whenever I look at myself in the mirror. You develop such a close contact with yourself that you start being much more aware of what your needs actually are. And because you care about yourself, because you love yourself, and that's the second thing to develop, is that you start daring to put your well-being before other people's well-being or perceived well-being, because very often we think we need to take care of other people's needs first because we think we know what other people need. And that is a trap that I used to be stuck in as well. I used to think I knew what others needed. Of course, I mean, you can get a general idea, but what it is exactly and when and how much is none of your fucking business. It's every adult person's own responsibility to take care of their own needs. They have 2 feet to walk on and to say yes or no to whatever they want or don't want. And learning how to let go that need to desperately take care of others, again, for wanting approval, will set you free. And there you will also dare to set your own boundaries and say, hey, I need time for myself. I need to recharge. See you later. And this is exactly what I did in the past few days when my dad was visiting here, which was fun. You know, we explored the Tuscan countryside, we had pizza, we had beautiful lunches, and, you know, he got to know my dog because he hadn't seen her yet, and that was all fine and dandy. But I also know that, you know, what it's like with parents. They trigger you, or some things might be irritating, or you feel, you know, an array of emotions, which totally happened to me as well. And I was like, I need to, you know, take some time here for myself, step back and reconnect with myself, remember who am I, what do I want, what do I find important, so that I can then, you know, freely and objectively face the situation. And having learned how to do that beforehand, I could now use that. So I was like, hey Dad, it's been great today. I'm going to go into my home and get some work done. And he had his own apartment to stay in. So that was perfect. And I did not feel guilty for it, because I knew that if I had just, you know, been there like, hey, you want tea, you want coffee, anything else? We're going to walk around. It's like, that's not going to add anything to it. It's just trying to trying to fill in a gap that you think is there. But he's totally fine. I know that as well, that he's totally fine, you know, being by himself too. But I did that twice in the only 3 days we spent together, because I needed time for myself. I needed time to speak to my husband on the phone. I needed time to just sit. I wanted to clean my house a little bit, just to reconnect with myself. Which might sound like a very strange thing to do when your dad's visiting here, whom you see 3 times a year. But if I hadn't done that, I would have gone in overload, and maybe irritations or frustrations or difficulties or triggers would have exploded, and this whole experience wouldn't have been as nice as it has been, right? So it's very much about how am I feeling, being aware of that, what do I need right now, while I totally realized I had to take some time for myself. And that worked out just perfectly, because that's how you can then show up as your full, bright and vibrant self the moment that you have had that time for yourself. But it does require courage, because someone, you know, you might be afraid that people might think like, oh, they're being so selfish. Well, you know what would be selfish? If I would stay in a situation because I'm trying to get someone's approval, which is selfish because I'm trying to get something from you, and I'm just staying there like thinking I need to give you everything you need. That doesn't work, because I'm going to not be a very nice person, and the other person's going to sense that too. So it takes a lot of maturity. Thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate it. I'm happy this is resonating, because I think it's something that we're not supposed to do, because we're always supposed to be like open and friendly, and of course you want have another cup of coffee. No, I need time for myself right now, because I know that I cannot be the best version of myself if I just stay here being nice. I mean, I don't even want to be with people that are just being with me because they think they look nice, you know. I want you to spend time with me because you enjoy spending time with me. And if it's something you need to force, then please stay out of my energy, because I have more important things to take care of, right? And that is the same with the people that I hang out with. I'm like, I want to be able to show up as my best self and not be irritated or frustrated or whatever. Or even like being a highly sensitive person, I know that when I don't eat, I get really, really cranky. And sometimes, when I'm preparing lunch and my husband is talking to me and I'm like, honey, I'm sorry, but I'm really cranky right now because I need to eat. And I just tell him, because otherwise it's like, whatever, I don't want to be that kind of person, because I'm not her, but I become her the moment that I don't eat on time, or when I don't sleep enough, or when I, have all these stimuli going on at the same time. And that is not me, it's just, my need for decompressing sometimes, my need for nurturing myself, my need for, recharging and not being around people all the time. And I know that, I'm aware of that. So it is my responsibility to take care of those needs, no one else's. But whenever I need to, communicate that, I do, because then at least the people know what's going on. Another thing happened, that we were going to go to a restaurant with my husband and my dad, and we were in a hurry, and then the dog wouldn't come in, and everything was happening at the same time, and we needed to rush because otherwise the restaurant would close. People eat really early here in the countryside, and I had told the people that we would be on time, and then everything just took longer, and it was all stressful. And my dad was in the car with me, and I was like, I'm really annoyed right now because I told the people at the restaurant that, we would be there, we go there very often, and I don't like not sticking to my promises. So I'm just really frustrated right now. And I just shared that so that someone knows what's going on. I was driving really fast. He was like, can you please drive slower? I'm like, okay, keep it together. These things happen all the time, but I know that I can not have the situation explode, because I don't want that, because I just want to enjoy the moment, by naming it, by voicing it, by just sharing it, by just saying, okay, this is something that's happened before, it really gets on my nerves, just so you know, this is what's going on. And that's taking responsibility for your own needs and for your own emotions, and we're all human beings. And I was actually reflecting on like what actually made me still feel triggered by many things that my father said and did. And what I realized, that I was still taking care of him. I was still making sure, I still wanted to make sure that he was fine. That's something I did from a very young age on, my parents being divorced and him being very explosive. And so as a little kid, what I learned to do was to really gauge, I think, really sense his needs, his emotions and everything, and I would always do my best to take care of him and make him feel good, which is an impossible task, but still as a kid you take that on. And so what I realized is that that was still my system. And because I have the dog now, I couldn't completely focus myself on him all the time, because I have another priority. And so I couldn't do what I usually did, and so I felt out of control. This is a very, personal thing that I realized, but I'm sharing this because these are things that we all have in one form or another, and they're not wrong, but what your responsibility is to dive into them and reflect and journal and see like, hey, what's actually going on here? And I realized that this was going on, and now I'm aware of it, and I'm waiting for the next full moon to show up so that I can burn this rule, this belief that I have to take care of my father's well-being, and I can burn it under the moon so I can let it go, because it's not up to me, it's up to him, and it's up to me to take care of my own needs. And I've come a long way, so that's why I'm able to say, hey, I need time for myself, or, I'm focusing on my dog or on other things that I find important. But we always have things to learn. That's a growth process, and I think it's a very beautiful thing, because that's life, as long as you can look at it like that. So what I'm curious to hear from you is, how does this play into your own life? Where are you saying yes to things that you actually want to say no to? Where could you set more boundaries than you're actually setting now? Like, how can you make sure that you nurture yourself first and not get yourself overstimulated by just saying no, by saying stop, by saying this is the limit. Like, where can you do that? I would love to hear it from you. Share it in the comments. And this awareness and this being able to, really dive in and ask myself what is really going on. It's something that I've learned because I'm a coach, because I can coach myself. I can ask myself the questions. I know what emotions to dive into and what to open up in order to get to my own answers. I do this exercise where I just sit and I connect with my higher consciousness, I always see her as a goddess, and I ask her for advice. And I already asked her like a day after he came, and I said, how can I handle this? And she said, it has nothing to do with you. And I heard it, but still, like, being able to apply it in the moment is hard. But now looking back, it's like I already have the answers. And so this is what I do with my clients as well. It's like I ask the right questions so you can find your own answers, which allow you to go beyond the situation and to grow from it instead of suffering from it. And that is real freedom, because you learn these skills to grow and to evolve and to become this best version of you that there is beneath all the insecurities, all the doubts, all the fears. Your core, your pure truth is beauty, love, and creativity, and it's there the moment that you are able to shed the layers that are literally bogging you down, like they're weighing down on you and you're not able to fly your wings. And so when you loosen all that energy up and the real truth comes out, well, then there's freedom. And I would love to help you get to that freedom that is available to you in a life where you live according to your needs, according to what works for you, and you are going to be in alignment with yourself. And that can look as anything like moving to Italy, or really daring to let go of a relationship that's not working for you anymore, and stepping into your real power and really embracing who you really are. You're this creative, highly sensitive woman with so much potential, and your real life, your true life, where you feel so exhilarated, is waiting there for you. And I know you because I am you. We are so incredibly similar. And I would love to help you step into that realness of you, where you just feel free, light, and just happy with yourself in your life. So you can always shoot me a message, and we can set up a free discovery call in which we chat for 30 minutes and we can just discover if we're a match to work together. And if so, then you have no idea what's coming for you, because the transformation is so beautiful when you allow yourself to have it. So I'm going to send you lots of love and courage, and I'll check in with you again super soon. Thank you for being here with me today, and I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.